Our next discussion lies on using what are called as logical functions. And if some of us are from a mathematics or engineering background, we would probably realize the importance of functions such as and, or, and not, right? In science, we were taught that these were some of the logical gates that are used in microprocessors. Regardless, even if we are not from that background, it doesn't matter. All we are looking at is three functions which are called as and, or, and not. As the name suggests, and looks for a scenario where two or more conditions are satisfied simultaneously at the same time. So all conditions need to get satisfied, right? Or is looking at a scenario where any one of the conditions is getting satisfied, right? So you're looking at any one or more are getting satisfied, right? Not is the exact opposite. Essentially, you're looking at negation of the value when you use not, right? So let's look at this data. We have a few employees given here who were hired at a certain point of time. As of today, their age in the organization is this much. Their working status is in terms of half-time, full-time, contract, hourly, etc. And their job rating on a scale of 5 is this much. Let's say we want to find out all employees that have been in the system for more than 24 years and who have a rating of more than 3, right? So, or we could change it down to more than 21 years and a rating of 3, right? So people who have been in the system for more than 21 years and a rating of better than 3 is what we are looking at, right? So we want both the conditions to get satisfied. The way it works is we use a function called and. Both the conditions getting satisfied is why we are using this function called and you can add as many arguments to this as possible. The first logical argument is whether the number of years is greater than 22. So this is greater than 21 is what we said, right? And the second logical argument was if the job rating was greater than 3. Remember, greater than 3, not equals to or greater than 3. So greater than 3 is what we are looking at. And I click OK, it says false for the first one. Why? Is because while this is greater than 21, so that's a tick here, this is not greater than 3, it's equal to 3, right? So logically, you see, where do you see two ticks? That's here, and that's here and here. Other than that, all of the others we should get as false, right? So that's the idea that this condition should satisfy, and we get a scenario which says only the ones where we see both the ticks as right, both the signs as a tick, is where we get the true value. Now that's where both the conditions get satisfied. So you could add multiple conditions and say what's the status. You could also put in another condition saying if the status is full-time or half time, right? So you could put in another condition here saying that this is equal to, or you could just say, you know, as, let's say we want to add another condition here. We want to, let's say that the employee needs to be full-time as well. So this is equals to full-time, right? And you press enter, this stays true. But when I copy and paste it here, sorry, when I copy and paste it here, this changes to false because no longer is this employee a full-time employee, right? So effectively, I can check for multiple conditions, and only when all of them get satisfied in one go is where the AND function will throw an argument that is true, right? So that's how AND works. Let's say we want to find out OR. So we want to find out how many have been in the system for more than 21 years or have a rating of more than 3. So we use a function called OR. Similar arguments here as well. You just have to put in this greater than 21 and this greater than 3. and click OK. You see the first one gives a true now because any of the condition is what we are looking at. I'll actually revert to the two condition scenario here as well. And you find that you find two extra trues now is because any of the condition becomes true here. In this case, the job rating is 5, while in the first case, the number of years is 21. The only places where you find false are A and B. Both of these are false, right? The negation of AND is considering the scenario where none of the conditions are true. Essentially, all you need to do is find out a not and look at this. You put a not there and it gives you an opposite value. And similarly, you could do that for OR, drag it down. You find that when you put a not value outside the bracket, it effectively